Okay everyone, I hope you have your beers ready, because today we're gonna look at some Brewmaster gameplay. If you don't have your beers ready, then you shouldn't be playing Brewmaster. Cheers. Because you have to feel the Brewmaster. You don't just play Brewmaster, you feel him, okay? So today we're gonna look at S4 playing the Brewmaster. And if you've been paying attention, then you know that S4 has been playing the shit out of this Brewmaster. And in my opinion, it's one of the sickest offlaners you can play right now. I've had really good success with it, and I'm fucking terrible at Dota, okay? So that must mean something. So let's look at what S4 does here. He's been given a ward by his support, and this is where he places the ward. Now, I'm not too sure about this ward, you know? I'm never gonna doubt S4, of course. He's probably had his reasons. Most likely it was because they have Bounty Hunter, and if Bounty Hunter ganks your offlane, then he's most likely going to be invis whenever he runs here. If this was me, I would usually try to block the easy camp with my ward. So I would suggest placing a ward in this spot if this was me, but yeah, S4 places it here for some reason. In terms of starting items, we see 10 tangos, healing salve and stout shield. I think this is your normal starting build. You are a melee hero in the offlane, and whenever there's any range hero, you are expected to take a lot of hits. 10 tangos, that cost a lot of money, but I think it's worth it. Now, why is Brewmaster so sick? It's because of his Drunken Haze. Drunken Haze is a sick fucking spell. If you remember, in this recent patch it was nerfed. It was giving 4 more seconds of cooldown. In my opinion, this recent patch is not really a big problem, since you can still spam it in your lane. 15 seconds is not a long cooldown. And now the point of your Drunken Haze is to deny the fuck out of all the farm you get. If you've watched my last video on Enigma, you will know that it's very good to deny your opponent's farm when you're the offlaner. So Drunken Haze gives a missed chance of 70% for a cost of 25 mana. That is an incredible spell, which means that whenever your opponent is about to get take a last hit, you're just like, there's a 30% chance you're gonna have the last hit. So what's he doing now? He's doing a nice little trick. He's pulling the creeps. Pay attention to how he re-aggroes the creeps here, because if he walks uphill, the creeps will lose aggro, and using a spell gives vision to the creeps, so that will re-aggro them. CS, nice CS here by the S4 god. But yeah, this is a good thing because it gives your lane a disadvantage in terms of creeps, which in terms of game is an advantage, because you will be at your tower. And yeah, we see he bought the magic stick as soon as he could. The magic stick is a core item on Brew because of the mana it gives. Basically having a little bit more mana is like it for Brew. If you have a little more mana, you're doing fucking great. So and now he's getting Quelling Blade and boots. For obvious reasons, you want to be getting the CS. All good stuff. But yeah, see how he's using his Drunken Haze on Necro whenever Necro wants to take CS. You see this? And there he misses. And as a result, Necro is at 11 CS at 4 minutes, whereas we are at 15 CS. It could be worse. Necro is actually not doing too bad. But Necro is a decent farmer, as we all know. So, fun little fact. Not many people know that you can buy a bottle in the secret shop, as S4 does here. And bottle is a really good item for Brewmaster because, I mean, for obvious reasons. Actually, I want to do a little game with you. Whenever S4 is sipping from his bottle here, let's take a sip of our bottle. You know what I mean? But why does it get bottled? One, you are fairly mana intensive. If you want to use your spells a lot, then you need the bottle, and since you have runes right next to your lane, you can really fill up your bottle all the time. And look what he's doing now. He's positioning himself so that he will both get the experience from this wave, and he will be able to get this rune right when it spawns, before Necro. Why we want the runes is clear. We want the bottle charges, right? Tinker stole his rune here, unfortunately, but I mean, it's fine, because Tinker also needs his mana and shit. But let's take a sip from the bottle. He took one sip. Also, don't forget to use your shrine. I often see offlaners that just not use their shrine, which is not what you want, okay? Use the shrine. If it means spamming and going in and losing health, do it, okay? But now we're at a very crucial time in space, okay? The Necro is out of position, they know this. They don't know the bounty is here, but the Necro is out of position. And we have just got our 6. Hello? So at this very crucial point in time, I want to pause the game. Because Necro is out of position, but more importantly, S4 has hit his level 6. Level 6 is a very important level for Brewmaster. And just for this, I want to go into a practice lobby and talk about Brewmaster's ultimate. Because you might think, I know about his ulti, I know all shit what he does. Well, let me tell you, you probably don't, okay? So, when you use ultimate, you get 3 little drunken fucking spirits. You basically become the cocaine spirit. Because, I mean, look at this. This is just fucking crazy, right? This has nothing to do with fucking beer. This is craziness. Let me go through the units, what they do, okay? First of all, we have the fire. Fire only has a passive, which is basically radiance, okay? But fire also has 160 damage at level 3 and is the fastest of all the spirits. It has 550 movement speed. The earth spirit has 2 passives and a spell. The spell is Hurl Boulder. This is the same spell that the neutral creeps have, which are like the granite golems or whatever. But this spell does 150 damage and the stun is actually 2 seconds. A 2-second stun is a pretty good spell. Also, you are immune to spells, you have permanent BKB, and, little known fact, you deal bonus damage to buildings. And you see, it's 270 bonus damage, but keep in mind, these units are actually have the attack type hero, not like all the other units, which, like, for example, the Spirit Bearer has the attack type normal, and normal does 50% damage to towers, hero does 30% damage to towers, you know the drill. Long story short, basically it's 30% of this extra to towers, okay? So 30% of 270, that's like 100 or something, like 90 damage. Alright, now finally, this little blue guy here, who is the Storm Spirit, it's not the hero, it's the cocaine fueled version of Brewmaster. This is what very few people know about, okay? People know about this Cyclone, which is a basically Yule's Scepter, but it lasts 6 seconds. If you cast this on a non-hero unit, it's 20 seconds, okay? So you can disable a summon, like a Necro or something, for 20 seconds, okay? Isn't that something? But the real thing people don't know about is Windwalk. Windwalk is the most crucial spell of Brewmaster. Why? Because it works like Shadowblade. It gives you bonus damage while you're invisible. And look, 100 bonus damage at level 1. That's a lot of damage. And also, it has a cooldown of 5 seconds. Which means when you use your ultimate, the very first thing you want to do is select the Storm Spirit and go invis. Right? But more on the microing later. First I want to show you this Dispel Magic spell. I think it was recently changed. It used to be like a very small radius. Now, as you can see, it's a very big radius. And it's actually a ground targeted purge, okay? It's a ground targeted purge that does 1000 damage to summons, right? So it has this little effect. Now what does it mean? Purge means, and on one hand, it will remove debuffs from you, and at the same time will also remove buffs from your enemy, alright? This has of course a huge amount of uses, right? However, I would suggest when you're just starting out with Brewmaster, it's not the most important thing to start using your purge, okay? This is something that just kind of comes into you, okay? If you've drunken enough beer and you've like played Brewmaster enough, then after a while you're just like, fuck, I wish I could remove this buff they have. Okay, and then you just go, okay, purge it. But more importantly is the fact that it will deal 1000 damage to summons. And if we, for example, take a warlock and level him, if he uses this, this will do like half damage to a level 3 warlock ulti, right? How do we micro our Primal Split units? This is an important thing. So of course you have 3 units, but the main thing you want to be doing is really control them all as one, right? So I use X for this, and I use X to select all controlled units. But here's the key, okay? I use a control group 1 to select my earth and fire guys, okay? Why? Well, if I press 1, the earth guy is going to be in front. This allows me to use my hurl boulder. I never really need to select my fire guy separately because he only has a passive. And finally I have 2 to select my storm guy. This is because the storm is the only one that I really sometimes want to micro alone, whereas these guys are fine if I leave them in a group. And usually I will actually press X and control them like this. There's rarely a need to actually separately move your primal spirits. The only reason why you want to select them separately is to cast their spells. The first thing you always want to do when you cast ultimate is use the invis on your storm spirit. And this comes before using your stun. So how do you do this? You press R, 2 and E. This is how I do it. After this you press X and then you start attacking. Usually you want to be using a hurl boulder after this, so you can press 1 and Q. And all of these things are of course provided that you are actually using the positional keyboard layout and not legacy keys, right? Anyways, so this is how our ultimate works. Did you know all this stuff? I don't think you did. Moving back to the point in time where we acquired our ultimate, which is about the 7-minute mark. By the way, keep in mind the 7-minute mark. Your goal is to get level 6 by the 7-minute mark, and ideally even earlier. It's possible earlier if you could do well in your lane. Let's see what happens here. They see the Morphling goes out of position. We just got our Primal Split. So what does he do? Uses Q and then Primal Splits immediately. You never want to hold back to your Primal Split. Look at the damage here. Necro, as you all know, has ridiculous regen with his fucking ghost meme ability or whatever you would call it. But yeah, I mean, look how he wrecks the entire thing. We're gonna see a lot more situations. So yeah, right now, S4 is pretty much looking for any fight he can find, okay? You will also notice that he's paying attention to the rest of the game. And whenever there's something happening, he wants to be in there. So they make a little bit of a shitty move here because top was fighting and top is dying and they are smoking their jungle, which is not really a great idea, as we're going to see soon too. There were some bottle sips being taken, so... And so now our next item after the bottle is the blink immediately. Blink doesn't need explanation for brew. You want to blink and then use your thunderclap. But look what he does. He is hiding. Radiant has no vision of brew right now. Why is that? Because he is TPing. He wants to TP. He is looking to fight with his blink dagger. And see what he does. Blinks in, uses thunderclap and immediately ults again as soon as it's up. So the invis was already used twice in this fight. I don't know if you noticed. And you're gonna see the invis being spammed to get this extra damage in. And this is what you want to be doing. However, don't overextend. You can still die even if you're a brewmaster and you're drunken as hell. But yeah. After blink, as you see in his quick buy, you want to get the power treads. You really want to blink as soon as possible, so getting power treads after blink is something that I see S4 doing in all of his games. Power treads are pretty obvious item choice. You want attack speed to hit your crits, and you also want to be able to tread switch so that you have maximum mana and you can always use your spells when you want. He's about to get a rune, so the bottle will be filled, and yes. So here are the power treads. We are now pretty cool with fighting. See how he's constantly watching the map to see what is happening and if he can join the fight. Here he decides that it's just not the time for him to farm. He's taking bottle sips. I'm sorry, he decides it's not time for him to fight, to join this fight. You're also pretty good at farming stacks with your thunderclap, so do it whenever possible. Bottle sip. Another bottle sip. So now his team has rallied to push, and here we see a nice little farming trick happening. You know that you're going to use your thunderclap to farm this wave, so see what S4 does. Pulls the wave to the easy camp here to get some extra farm up, which is just a nice thing you can do for efficiency. Get some extra creeps lane in, and yeah, they get this pretty easy tower. So now we see a fight happening. Notice how he doesn't hesitate to use his ultimate here. You never want to hold it back. Ult is so good that you just want to use it as soon as you can. And this Medusa looked pretty dead here, but surprise, Medusa is a tanky ass hero. So the fact that he used ult here actually secured the kill. And we see another very important thing happening here. I don't know if you guys know this, but there's a mechanic in Dota called being hidden. What being hidden means that your hero is there, but really he's not there, right? When Brewmaster uses ultimate, he is also hidden, and he is hidden inside of one of his units. Since he's not actually there, there's no way for him to take damage ever. Like, he is there, but he's not actually there. So when his ult runs out, he will no longer be hidden, and he will appear. Since that he's not taken damage before this, he can then dagger. This is the case every single time after your ult, and it's a super important thing to do. Use that dagger after your ultimate. Abuse the fact that you have a guaranteed dagger after your ult. We're gonna see this many times, and it's gonna be a very important thing in your games as well. Because it allows you to be pretty aggressive when you're in your ultimate. The only thing you have to be careful is to not be in a damage over time type of effect, like the Underlord, exactly this thing. Don't be inside that when your ult expires. Yeah, if you pay attention to this, you're always fine with blinking out after your ult. Now you might ask, why the fuck is he getting Vladimir's? So I've mentioned earlier that Brewmaster is hidden inside of his unit, which means that he is there, but he's not really there. This means that auras that he has are also emitted. If you use your ultimate, the Vladimir's aura will be emitted from your ultimate's units. Okay, does that make sense? First, Vladimir's aura will come from the Earth Spirit, then from the Storm Spirit, and then from the Fire Spirit. This works with every aura in the game. Since Vladimir's gives you damage in your aura, it's a very good item. Mana regeneration is also a cool thing for you as Brewmaster. We took a bunch of bottle, I don't even care, man. We have another fight coming up, and what I want you to pay attention now is how he uses his ultimate again. Blink, use Thunderclap, then use Drunken Haze, and then ultimate. This is how you always want to do it. Blink in, use all of your shit, and then use ultimate. So now good stuff, we see some farming happening. If he was good, he would be switching his Quelling Blade here, but I mean, yeah. It's S4, he's not very good. Listen to me, okay? I'm a good player, not really S4. His next item in his quick buy is the Assault Cuirass, and you can imagine why. Because the aura will even be emitted from his ultimate, which will give him armor, attack speed, and armor and attack speed, right? I don't think his units have a lot of armor, which is why Assault Cuirass is really good. Also, it reduces enemy armor, right? It also reduces enemy structures armor, but that's just assault cuirass. I mean, I don't have to tell you this. Again, bottle sipping. Another one. So his ulti is not up right now, unfortunately. And as you guys know, a spell that is not up cannot be used. If you're wondering what the hell is happening here, is this a bounty rune or what? Nope, this is Bounty Hunter having a weird ass cosmetic, which is Hunter's Horde. Changes the fucking appearance of your thing. There's a fight happening and shit. I mean, we see the same thing. Thunderclap before your ultimate, blah blah blah. Use your fucking invis for the extra damage. But I want you to pay attention to the net worth chart. He's sitting at the top of net worth, okay? He's top 3 in net worth as an offlaner. But why do you think this is? This is not because he's been busy farming. This is because he has been busy fighting. Look at this. He is one of the worst in terms of last hits, but one of the best in terms of net worth. But that's only because he's been participating in these fights, playing a big role and helping his team be ahead. This is where his gold comes from, okay? And that's a super important factor being a Brewmaster. Your main gold income is from fights, not from farm. You don't want to neglect your farm. You're pretty good at farming actually, but the fights are more important. And this is why I think Brewmaster is such a damn good hero in pub games as well. Here, it's a little bit funny. He was kind of like, I don't know if he was baiting here or whatever, but he TPs out and they are like, oh, I want to fucking cancel the TP. And then he just proceeds and kills them all. And yeah, notice how they have the Vladimir's aura. But yeah, what was I saying? There's been bottle sips being everywhere. I don't even care, man. So we have another fight coming up. And remember what we said earlier about the fact that you are hidden during your ultimate? This also means that your health will stay the same after your ult. If you ult while you're at like 10 health, you will stay at 10 health. You can't die doing this, but you're still at 10 health when you come back, okay? So see here, he's trying to get his ultimate off, but everyone is like attacking him and he's like getting real close to dying here. Necro ult is on him, but he barely survives and gets his ultimate off here. But look how he is not going like pussy mode. He is fucking staying calm and fighting. And why? I give you guys a guess why. It's because he has the blink after his ult is over. Okay? And always keep in mind the blink. Always blink. So yeah, they're completely wrecking everyone. He has his assault cuirass up, which is why killing these towers is going to be pretty damn easy now. You see, armor reduced by 5 on the tower. Let's talk for a second about our talents. I think you don't have a lot of choice when you play Brewmaster. The only real choice you have is your level 10. If you're doing bad, you would of course go for your health. But in general, you're going to go for damage. 30 damage is a very, very good talent for level 10. The Thunderclap slow, I don't think it's very good, to be honest. I would usually go for magic resistance. Then you get some funny talent choices, okay? You get 100 attack speed. I can see all the pub players being like, oh yeah, the carry is strong. I want this 100 attack speed, man. 1500 health. Any talent that says 1500 health, no matter what's afterwards, what's before, you want to take it, okay? Now level 25, that's my favorite talent in the game, okay? 15% drunken brawler chance, or minus 65 seconds Primal Split cooldown. If I see anyone ever taking the drunken brawler chance, I'm going to shove this. I won't go this far, okay? But just take the freaking cooldown reduction, okay? That means you have a 35 second cooldown on your ultimate. The duration is 20 seconds, so effectively you have a downtime of 15 seconds. I want to point out to you guys that Radiant was ahead for the majority of this game, and yet it looked super easy for Team Dire to win this game. And I think it's pretty clear that this was because of Brewmaster. Brewmaster is just amazing in pub games because he wants to be in the fight all the time. His ultimate wrecks shit. He's like rank 100 in terms of most played heroes. Like, not many people even know the shit that he does. Another great thing which I didn't mention, there's no real counter to him. You can really pick him first if you want. The only thing that kind of counters you is if they have like really long silences. But that's not a hard counter because it can go both ways, right? Either they kill you while you're silenced or you kill them while you're not silenced, right? Radiant gets a complete team wipe here, which is not great, but Dire has mega creeps, so... And we have missed like 10,000 bottle sips, so let's just finish our bottle, right? If there's a Brewmaster in your team, what do you want to do? So first of all, you want to let him get XP early. The earlier he gets his level 6, the better he's going to do. As soon as he gets his 6, it's really safe to just stick with the Brewmaster, because Brewmaster really wants to be in a lot of fights as early as possible. So if you're like a support, then being with Brewmaster is a great idea because he's just naturally where the fights are, you know? And helping your Brewmaster can only have good results because he doesn't really need you to kill everything, but if you're there, then you're there, right? Which is pretty cool. But yeah guys, this has been it. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I truly think Brewmaster is one of the better heroes. I hope you guys will have a great Christmas time. I'm not having a great Christmas time because I'm in China. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you want more of this, and have a nice day.